The FSA sounds like a math teacher wrote it. And it's like you're doing an application for a math career. Why not just make the test simpler and with questions similar to PERT and SAT? Look at some of these right here. Which system of inequalities describes the graph? So they've got some choices. That would be one way. Even more interesting would be, what if you just looked at this and had those points given? Now it's up to the student to provide the slopes and the equation. They calculate the slopes, calculate the equations, and say, what is that point that satisfies those two items? What is the equation of a line parallel to y equals negative 5x plus 6 and passes through negative 4, negative 1? Why not actually draw it out, right? Why do we need to have this compulsion on A through F, choices? In a previous video, I pointed out that all of this language here is coming down to, how do we read this graph, right? And that's not necessarily a math skill, it's a reading skill. And to make someone read all of this up here, and it comes down to, how are we designing this graph? Not nice. Here are two simple, typical math problems, which would be better for checking, has the algebra been communicated to the student? Do they know how to find that point? Which choice is the point of intersection? Okay. It would be even, why not have them fill it in? If you want to have, what is the point of intersection? That would be interesting. Where do they meet? That would be even nicer. Where do these two lines meet? Let's use information that is easier. Where are the 2 points that this meets? That's the idea. The idea is, instead of doing both A and B, no. Have them actually write in the choices and allow them to have a range. We know it's somewhere between negative 4 and negative 2 here. It's somewhere between 5 and 10. Let's have them fill in that point. What is it, like negative 2.8 and then positive 7, I guess? And this is about 3 for the y and about 1.8 for the x. And let's see, this thing. Oh my goodness. In a previous video, I pointed out that this is not a real situation, because it's talking about x is the number of balls produced. You can't have negative balls. And it's asking someone to look at an equation that doesn't exist in the real world. It's very unusual to, this right here looks like the slope of a production curve. These are the costs. The production costs should be going down as the number of units goes up. I have no idea where this came from. So clearly this is not an accurate representation of the real world. So why are we even looking at this? The only thing that we're looking for is, what is a reasonable constraint for this model? Well, what's reasonable is, it probably should only start there. There should be no possibility of this, as you can see here. Basically, it's going from, what, 0 constraints. The company wants to keep its production at or below this number. Okay, there's 125, so it has to keep it between here and here, I guess. Yeah, there it is. So, yes, we can figure this out, but where in reality does it cost to make one item, and then 2 items, and then 26 items, and somewhere here the cost is high, but then it starts coming down? I'm not sure how this can be modeled in the real world. It takes a lot of imagination and thinking, and